Hey guys, so we did glue the two pieces of the Corian together last night, and all set up, and I carried it into the tent chiller here. The one thing that was really concerning me actually was because this countertop, which is going to go right here, is made up of six pieces of Corian. So there's actually, what does that make it? Five joins in there for those six pieces. So five potential joints of failure. And it does weigh a fair bit. I did a little bit of calculation, and roughly speaking, it weighs in the neighborhood of about 50 pounds, roughly speaking, maybe a little bit more. So, and obviously, just being one guy, it's 6 feet long, so I can only carry it really in the middle by myself. So that means you've got a fair bit of weight on each end that potentially could break. So what I did is I carried it in. I went and actually took a couple of clamps and I clamped a piece of 1x4 spruce to the bottom side of it just to hold it relatively rigid. And then when I carried it, on edge, if you will, to try to make sure that there wasn't any crazy loads placed on it. But of course, you have to lay it down, whatever. You always have to put it flat, and that's where I was worried about having some stresses on it where that glue might separate. Mind you, I tell you, I did a test piece before I ever started this job of gluing two pieces of chlorine together, and I had to work like crazy on it to break it. It was impossible to break with my hands. I actually wound up finally to break it. Actually had to get a large hammer and whack it in the middle to break it. So the joint can be broken, but it's very, very strong, very strong. So it probably would have been okay. It's probably just my paranoia. Um, to go and actually do what I did to put that piece of 1x4 on the bottom side of it. But you know what? I'd prefer to be paranoid than wrong, right? And I didn't want to do all this work and have it fail. Now, you might see a little bit of shine difference here, not because there's a little bit of water on here. It's raining today, but in any event, yeah, it actually looks really great. I mean, I don't know if the camera picks this up. It probably doesn't. It's a little bit dark in the tent chiller here. But in any event, the next process now is, and I will be having to pick it up briefly, obviously, to put it on the counter, onto the counter here. But I think that'll be okay for that little distance, and I'll be very careful with it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to secure it with some construction adhesive. So everywhere we've got a flat surface here, right? So all of these pieces, all of them at the back as well. I'm going to put a very small bead of construction adhesive everywhere. And then I'm going to pick this thing up and carefully place it in, putting the back side in first and then dropping it down. And then we're just going to leave it. And I think that's going to be more than sufficient to hold this in place. In fact, yeah, it's definitely going to be fine. So that's going to be the process. As mentioned before, I have done a little bit of work on this cabinet to make it a little bit stronger. I put these cross pieces in, right? There was a few other minor things that I won't bore you with that I did to kind of make it a little bit stronger. So I had the brad nailer out here and just, made sure she's good and solid before we put this on there. I mean, why not? So, yeah, so the next step is I'm gonna grab the caulking gun with the PL 2000. I think that's what I'm using. Construction adhesive by LePage, and put a very small bead around there. We don't need a lot. I don't need to goop it up ridiculously, and then place the counter on there, and we should be pretty much done, other than obviously some cleanup afterwards. Done a few things, got the curtains out of my way, etc. I really don't want to get construction adhesive on anything, ideally. Yeah, so let's get after it. Hey guys, so we're gonna go and we're gonna glue the thing down. So I'm using some LePage's PL Premium construction adhesive. We're gonna put just a little dab all along all along the structure here to hold it. But I'm not gonna get too carried away. I'm not gonna put a whole bunch, especially at the back or whatever, because I don't want to, when I slide it in, I don't want to squish a whole bunch of glue up the back. I don't think it's terribly necessary. I think the weight of this thing combined with a bit of dabs of construction adhesive here and there will be fine, so I'm not going to get completely carried away with it. One thing I just thought I'd mention for guys that, you know, don't know, a couple little tricks with caulking guns. One is I'm using a dripless caulking gun here. So this caulking gun, you know, when you squeeze the trigger, if I take my hand off it, it stops. Okay, so these are not expensive, and they're so much better than the old school caulking guns where you're holding it and it keeps the pressure on, and you keep having more stuff come out. These are awesome, so well worth it. The other little trick that I learned is when you're cutting the angle, okay, on the tip of your caulking gun, go and draw a line with a little black Sharpie to kind of indicate where the tip is, okay? Because I mean, even on this one where I've got a bit of stuff on there already, you can't really see the tip very well. If you draw a line with a Sharpie, you know, when you cut it, then you know where that is, and you can keep their tip oriented in the direction that you want. So there's a couple little tips for anybody that doesn't already know those couple of little couple of little tricks. So yeah, so let's get after it. I'm going to start gluing this, and I'm going to place that on there. There may not be a lot of commentary because this is just one of those things I got to pay attention to. So we're just going to put a little bit on where we need her. Okay, so I think that's good. Okay, awesome. So I'm just going to get my caulking gun out of the way here so we don't have any issues. Put a little bit of paper here just to catch any drips that we might have. So I'm going to see that one there. That's okay. We're all right. Okay, now then, put the thing on. Alrighty, and that is that. Great. Just gonna grab some paper here and get this stuff off of my hands. Just be half a moment here, guys. Just bear with me. Alrighty, and there we have it. She's in there. And I got her all, just having a little look here. Well, we don't even have any excess glue sitting there. That's pretty exciting. Man, that looks good. I gotta say, I'm impressed with that. That is really awesome. What an improvement. And the beauty of this now, it's, you know, impervious to water. I am going to have to figure out why I was getting a little water. Basically what's happening with this, you know, there isn't really water getting into the, when it's completely closed, what's happening is the tent trailer where the pad is kind of tilted a little bit. It's tilted a little bit, and down this corner it kind of runs down an eaves trough at the back of the aluminum cover here, and I think what's happening is it's curling underneath like that and getting into this corner. So I think I'm going to deal with that separately. But now we have all of the damaged countertop removed, all of the damaged wood removed. We've secured the countertop base, and we've got our new Corian top in there, which cost us next to nothing. Just 6 pieces all glued together. You'd hardly know it, would you? So yeah, I'm excited. So hopefully hopefully this craziness helped somebody. I've certainly enjoyed this little project. If you haven't already done so, please do like and subscribe. It really does help the channel. It helps me go and do these videos. So if you wouldn't mind doing that, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, please leave a comment and let me know what I'm doing wrong. I love to learn stuff, and I love all the comments, good and bad, and I reply to every comment. So leave me a comment and I would love to comment back, okay? hope everybody's having a great day, and yeah, talk to you later. Bye for now.